Whenever any significant event occurs, people on the internet often look towards past prophets, hoping to get some inspiration from them. And 2020 is no exception. In mid-2020, posts on social media claimed the 16th century French astrologer Nostradamus predicted the coronavirus pandemic. There will be a twin year, from which will arise a queen, who will come from the east, and who will spread a plague in the darkness of night, on a country with 7 hills, and will transform the twilight of men into dust, to destroy and ruin the world. It will be the end of the world economy as you know it. After appraisal by Reuters staff and some experts, Nostradamus has never written such a prediction. For hundreds of years, 2 ancient editions of Nostradamus' collection of prophecies, Les Prophecies, have been properly preserved in the French National Library and the British Museum. The textual electronic version of his works can also be easily found on the internet, so later forgeries can be identified easily. Although experts denied the a false claim on social media, they cannot prove that Nostradamus really did not predict this major event in 2020. In fact, the word plague was mentioned in 26 of his quatrains. We found out at least 5 relevant prophecies are related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Leaving aside the examples of slightly insufficient persuasiveness, we only propose the following quatrains with obvious time clues. Century 8 verse 84. Father will hear the cry from Sicily. The Gulf of Trieste is fully prepared, suffering reeks till Trinigria. So many boats. Flee! Flee! The horrible pestilence. In this quatrain, Nostradamus has never directly revealed the year of the event, but he did describe a simultaneous event, when you can see a large number of cargo ships are vomiting in the port of Trieste. It means that the danger is approaching, and the prophet sent an urgent cry to the Italian people in the 4th line, leave! Leave! The terrible plague is looming. Given these facts, can you deny that Nostradamus actually predicted COVID-19? Nostradamus not only predicted the situation in Europe, he also mentioned one of the hardest hit areas of the COVID-19 pandemic, the United States, New York. Century 2 verse 53. The Great Plague at the Maritime City will not cease until there be avenged to death, blooded just due to arrest, die without crime. The great lady pretends is not wronged. In the Nostradamus decoding circle, almost everyone knows that he would generally use great city, new city to refer to the United States, but adding the word maritime clearly points to the city of New York. And from the first 2 verses, it can be seen that the epidemic may not be alleviated in a short period of time. The reason seems to be related to vengeance or death. I don't know if it refers to the curse of Tecumseh. The appearance of several keywords in the 3rd line seems to give time clues: just, blood, arrest, death without crime, which clearly points to the, incorrectly, killing of a black man by a Minneapolis police officer on May 25, 2020. It was the incident that triggered a large number of BLM protests in the United States and around the world, causing serious racial confrontation. The Great Lady in the 4th verse is ostensibly understood as the symbol of the United States. the Lady Liberty. But it can also be understood as the U.S. government authority. It is the ignorance and management errors of the authority that have led to serious racial disagreements and the uncontrolled spread of this epidemic. But they always refused to admit their responsibilities and blamed others to redirect attention. The most shocking thing is that Nostradamus not only predicted the coronavirus outbreak this year, he even clearly predicted the major historical event of the U.S. assassination of Iranian Major General Qasem Soleimani at the beginning of the year. Century 2 verse 35. The fire by night will take hold in 2 lodgings, several within suffocated and roasted. It will happen near 2 rivers as one, Sun, Sagittarius and Capricorn all will be reduced. To understand that this quatrain refers to the assassination of Soleimani at the beginning of the year, the key is the word lodging in the first line. But in Google Translation, the standard interpretation of the term is indeed a place in which someone lives or stays temporarily. So it is not surprising that lodgings is interpreted as the 2 SUVs hit by American missiles. The suffocated and roasted in the second line accurately describe the victim's tragic condition, which can be confirmed by many photos on the internet. The location associated with this event, Baghdad, located in the middle of the Mesopotamian plain. The Tigris River flows through the city, and is only about 30 km from the Euphrates River. As the closest place between the 2 rivers, the site is marked as. It will happen near 2 rivers as one in the third line. The day through Sun, Sagittarius, and Capricorn all will be reduced in the fourth line. Uses the so-called astrological dating technique related to Western astrology. Astrology is a pseudoscience that claims to divine information about human affairs and terrestrial events by studying the movements and relative positions of celestial objects. Although there is no scientific evidence for predicting the future, the combination of planets' motion and relative position in astrology exists objectively, and can indeed be used to represent time, because some combinations may take decades, hundreds of years, or even thousands of years. Only appeared once. As shown in the picture on the right, Western astrology is founded on relative positions of celestial bodies and their movement through signs of the zodiac, by observing and calculating the movement of the Sun, Moon, Mercury and other planets relative to these stations. Astrologers try to predict major events in daily life, and Nostradamus used this combination of celestial movements to indicate a specific date in his quatrains. Generally speaking, these celestial bodies' information can be attained by directly observing the sky, or by programs, and can also be found directly from the publication of certain websites. In this quatrain, 3 astrological terms are mentioned to indicate date, Sun, Sagittarius and Capricorn. Given the verb reduced, it should be understood as the time when the Sun leaves Sagittarius. We searched and get the following information. On December 23, 2019, the Sun left Sagittarius and entered Capricorn. That is not the end of decoding, taking December 23 as the base day, considering that the Sun leaves Sagittarius and must enter Capricorn. The repeated mention of Capricorn is not redundant, but meaningful. Capricorn is ranked 10th in the zodiac. And then think of the previous Sun, so the latter Capricorn should be understood as 10 days. And December 23rd plus 10 days actually points to the date of the assassination, around January 3rd. His method of giving date clues is not uncommon in Nostradamus prophecies. It also appears in the first line of the decoded quatrain, C9V83, about 2008 Sichuan earthquake. Sun 20th of Taurus. The earth will tremble very mightily. According to the constellation knowledge. You should also know that Taurus roughly corresponds to April 21st to May 20th of every year. So Sun 20th of Taurus almost exactly points to May 12th. A tragic day. Although the prophet did not give the year. This presentation reveals the two most commonly used time clue expression methods in Nostradamus quatrains, cross-marking dating and astrological dating. Dating year means identifying on the date. Subject to one of customary rules in the circle of prophets. The seer can't give the year, God of his own reason. Nostradamus never directly revealed the year of these events. But he did use other alternative methods to give approximate time hints, month or day, to avoid arbitrary and subjective interpretation of his quatrains, including adaptation to any other events. The best way to answer those skeptics is to use the skills summed up by our decades of exploration to reveal an upcoming future event. This is the task of our next presentation.